Right. So yeah, now I am going to give you introduction of today class. Before going to the introduction, I will introduce myself. Okay. So my name is Ramesh. I have 10 plus years of experience as a web developer and a trainer also. Okay. Right. Now today we are going to know about the introduction of three technologies. That is our course: Node.js, MongoDB, Express.js. Okay, our course is MongoDB, Node.js, Express.js. Okay, this is our course. So somebody will get on doubt. So what are the prerequisites for this course? Okay, what are the prerequisites for this course? So you should have to know about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You should know about HTML, CSS, and little bit JavaScript awareness you should have. Okay, right. And then after coming to the databases, if you learn any previous databases like Oracle or else MySQL something also, it will be good for you. Okay, so HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, these three technologies, and one database you should know. Then you can understand it very easily. So this is the prerequisites. Okay, everyone. And freshers also they can learn, not a problem. Okay, freshers also they can learn. Okay, right. Now nowadays there are so many huge requirements for Node.js developers. Okay, there are huge requirements for Node.js developers, Angular developers, and React developers also. Okay, this is one of the most evaluating technology in the software industry. Okay, right. Okay, so this is about this. And now coming to this our course. So what is our course? Our course is purely server side technologies. Okay, we are so in order to work with server side technologies, we should have to know one database, and here our database is MongoDB. So somebody pronounced as MongoDB, that is not correct. Mongo, M-O-N. Okay, not mango. Okay, right, MongoDB, and then after Node.js and Express.js. So these two technologies, Node.js is a technology called server-side JavaScript, and Express.js is a framework. So to develop our application, we will use Express.js. Okay, right. So in real time also, if you want to develop by any application by using Node.js, they will use Express.js framework only. Okay, right. So these technologies we are going to learn in this course. Now coming to, we will discuss one by one independently. Okay, so first, what is MongoDB? And before that, MongoDB history a little bit. So MongoDB was created by Dwight Merriman and Elliot Horowitz, who had encountered development and scalability issues with traditional relational database approaches while building the web applications at DoubleClick, an online advertisement company that is now owned by Google Inc. So these people, Dwight Merriman and Elliot Horowitz, okay, they are the developers MongoDB. They are the developers of MongoDB. So previous, okay, whenever they are working in the company called DoubleClick, that company name is DoubleClick. They are working there, Dwight Merriman and Elliot Horowitz. So okay, later that company, the DoubleClick company is now owned by Google company. DoubleClick company is now owned by Google company. Okay, right. Now these persons, Dwight Merriman and Elliot Horowitz, so whenever they are working with relational databases like MySQL also, Oracle also, that type of things they are, whenever they are working with, so they have faced some issues with horizontal scalability. Sorry, they have faced with scalability. That means performance wise. Whenever they are put everybody mute. So whenever they are performing any queries also, maybe sometimes they will little bit slow, something like that. Okay, so that's why they have faced some issues like performance related things, all those things they have faced some issues. So what they did, okay, they have faced some issues related to scalabilities with the traditional relational databases. That means MySQL, Oracle, SQL, all those things. These are all comes under relational database things. So whenever they are working with, they have faced some issues. So we also faced some issue, but we can't do anything. Just we have utilized the technology. But what they did, they have developed their own database that is called MongoDB. That is called MongoDB. Now, okay, now what is MongoDB? What is MongoDB? So MongoDB is an open source database management system. See, that is relational database. This is not relational database. This is database management system only. Okay, this is normal database management system. This is database management system. MongoDB is an open source database management system that uses document oriented database model, which supports various forms of data. It is one of the numerous non-relational database technologies which arose in the mid 2000s under the NoSQL banner for the use in big data applications and other processing jobs involving data that doesn't fit well in a rigid relational model. Instead of using tables and rows in a relational databases, the MongoDB architecture is made up of collections and documents. Okay, now I will explain one by one each and everything clearly. Okay, right. Now MongoDB is what? It is a open source. That means anybody can utilize it for freely. MongoDB is a open source technology. That means anybody can use it easy freely. Anybody can use freely. Okay, that uses document oriented database. So what is document oriented database? Anybody having any idea? If you have any idea, you can respond. See, whenever okay, so whenever you are in a class, in my class, no need to hesitate. Okay, so yeah, if you want to say anything, you can say. Okay, right. And I don't insult anyone, or else I don't scold anyone also. So anybody having any idea of document oriented database? Respond. Anybody having any idea or not? Hello. Why silent? See, don't be silent.
Tables and columns.
Okay, right. Any other person who responded?
Dinesh.
Yeah, okay, okay, right. So which supports various forms of data. It is one of the okay, right. So what is document oriented database is, generally we will store our data. Sir, I'm getting audio issue. Anybody getting audio issue? Respond please. Is my voice is clear? Yeah, okay, okay, right. So one person is responding. Wait 1 second. I can't speak Dinesh, but okay, okay. Wow. Okay, Bobby has been facing it. It's okay. Right. Now, generally, document oriented database means general database, how we will store the data in the form of tables and rows. That means I will compare with MySQL and I will tell you, then you will understand it. Okay, right. Wait 1 second. Right. Wait 1 second. I will tell you. Right. Yeah, everybody see screen right, everyone. Please respond. Clear is seeing it. Okay. Now I'm opening some MySQL database. Okay, right. Now see here. So what are you saying here? Suppose see this. See there, you are seeing a table or not? Respond everyone. Hello, what is this here? This, please respond. What is this pages? See, don't be silent, please. What is this pages? Hello,
Table pages.
table. Okay, right. And
Table.
what is this? Yeah, right. And what is this? Page ID, page name, and page description. This is the columns, and this is the data. Okay, so we'll store in the form of tables and rows. So this is entire table, and this we have some columns, and there we will store our data. This is generally normal relational database, how they will work. Okay, but this is what, this is documented oriented. See, this is document oriented database. That means this is not like this. We don't store the information like this. If you observe here, this is constant: page ID, page name, page description. Okay, and here the columns will come. Okay, tables and columns. This means this data will come. But how we will store the data in the MongoDB is I will display here. Wait one second. We will store our data in the form of objects, JSON objects. See here, like this. And there will be underscore ID also will be there. Okay, there will be underscore ID also will be there. Understand it, everyone? Please respond. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, please see, don't be silent. Okay, this is yeah, if I okay, right. So if you respond only, then only I will get confidence. Okay, students are understanding like that. Okay, if you say I don't know, I will explain one more time. But if you silent, how can I understand? Okay, right. So we'll store our data in the form of JSON objects. Okay, if you don't know what is JSON objects, no need to worry. Where I will discuss. Okay, I will discuss when the classes are started. Okay, no need to worry. Okay, right. Now we will store the data in the form of objects. So object means in the JSON objects or else okay, JSON objects. So how we will write JSON objects? In the curly braces we should write, and object is nothing but pair of key and value. So here we should write here colon mandatory. So left side of this colon is called as key, and key should have double quotations because this is a JSON object. Okay, so left side of this colon is called as key, right side of this colon is called as value. Understand it, everyone? Left side of this colon is called as key, and right side of this colon is called as value. So like this key and value pairs we need to write. Okay, and we need to write in the curly braces. If it is a single object, we can write like this. But if it is multiple objects, we should store in the square array. We should store in the form of array. Understand it, everyone? We should store in the form of array. Okay, and there will be one important thing will be there, that is called underscore ID. Underscore ID colon something like this we will have. Okay, underscore ID will be there. Okay, that is mandatory. Underscore ID for every collection is mandatory. Okay, I will tell you what is underscore ID, all those things tomorrow after installing Node.js. Okay, and and after installing MongoDB, I will tell everything clear for you. Okay, I don't leave any topic also. Okay, I will tell you clearly. Okay, right, no need to worry. So till now, if you understand what is this underscore ID, okay, what is this underscore ID also not a problem. Tomorrow class onwards, you will understand it. But every collection, every document, see here, this is what student is here. What we need to call it as collection. Collection is equivalent to table. If you observe here, what is these pages here? Respond now. What is these pages? What is these
Table.
pages? Table.
Tables.
Like that. Yeah, like that. Here students is the collection. So collection in the MongoDB, table in the relational database like MySQL is same. Understand? Same means that it has some similarities. Okay, table here in the MongoDB we will call it as collection. Record in the MySQL is called as here document. So from line number 3 to 8, it is a document, and the students is a collection. Understanding, right? Generally we will store in the form of table and rows, but here in the MongoDB we will store in the form of objects. That is what object oriented database means. Clear, right, everyone? Now respond please. Don't be silent. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. This is about this. Okay, this is about this. So this is what now. This is about document oriented database. Right. Now it is one of the numerous non-relational database technologies which arose in the mid 2000s. That means mid 2000s means 2005, something like that. Okay, right. Under the NoSQL banner for use in big data applications. Big data applications means if it is if the data is huge, if Facebook data is there, that is very huge. Amazon data is there, that is also very huge. State Bank India, State Bank of India data will be there, that is also very huge. Understand that? So if you want to work with a very big type of data, then MongoDB is the good solution for big data related things. Okay, MongoDB is the good thing for if you are working with big data. Big data means nothing but huge amount of data. Huge amount of data, lakhs, crores, 100 crores of data also will be there. Okay, suppose SBI is there, so almost every Indian has an account on it. Understanding that, everyone? Okay, like that HDFC also there will be huge amount of data. And Facebook, always how many people are using Facebook? Amazon. Okay, so many people are using, right? So that type of things comes under big data. So if you want to not only that applications, okay, if you are working with very high amount of data related applications, then MongoDB is one of the best solutions. I'm not telling that is only the solution, but that is also one of the best solutions. MongoDB, that is developed for that only. Why? Because already they have faced some scalability issues. That means what is scalability issues? Performance issues only. Whenever they are executing any queries also, if that data is very big, if the query may take very long time, so to overcome that situations only they have developed this MongoDB. That is very suitable, that is suitable for big data related things. Okay, if it is suitable for big data, so can't it suitable for a small data? Respond, everyone. If we can swim in the ocean, can't you swim in our local pool? Respond, everyone.
We can.
Right,
Yes,
like
sir.
that. Yeah,
Very-
yeah, okay. So don't think only it is for only big data. So if anything is working for big data means that will easily work for small data also. Okay, somebody has a very misconception. Okay, whenever they see here big data, okay, that is very big data only they will work. Small data we should not work like that. That is very wrong perception. If we can swim in the ocean means we can swim easily in the local pool. Like that, if it is working with big data means small data we can easily work. Okay, like that. Okay, right. So now instead of using tables and rows such as in a relational databases, the MongoDB architecture is made up of collection and document. That is what I told now. So in relational database like MySQL, what they will use table and rows. So this is the table and this is the row. This is the rows, and especially this is columns also we can call. Columns also we can call page ID, page name, page description. Okay, but here we have documents. This is the key. Every record has its keys. Every record has its keys. Okay, right, and its own values. Okay, that is also one of the advantage. Okay, and the MongoDB architecture is made up of collection and document. That is called collection and MongoDB. Okay, documents. So yeah, collection means what? If you compare with MongoDB, sorry, MySQL, what is a collection? If you compare with MySQL, respond, everyone. What is collection? If you compare with
Tables.
MySQL, table.
Table.
So yeah, what is a document if you compare with MySQL?
Rows.
Record.
Row or else record. Okay, right. Now coming to this, how it works. A record in a MongoDB is a document which is data structure composed of the field and value. So I told you, right, this is a key and value like that, but actually we can call it as field also. So we can call it as a key, or else we can call it as a field, or else if you are comfortable you can call it as a column also, not a problem. Okay, so this is the field and this is the value. So collection of that. Okay, right. Pairs. MongoDB documents are similar to JavaScript object notation. So they are very similar to JavaScript object notation means what? JSON objects, but use a variant called binary JSON. That means by default computer cannot understand anything. So all these things whatever you have stored here, that will convert into BSON. That means what? Binary form of JSON. Okay, no need to convert, automatically it will convert. Computer, okay, automatically that MongoDB will convert that. No need to worry about that. Okay, no need to worry about that. Okay, right. But all those things, how this will convert? It will convert in the form of BSON also. Internally that will convert, but with this type of things only we will work. Okay, no need to worry about that. Okay, right. And yeah, that accommodates more data types. The fields in documents are akin to the columns in relational database. See here, the fields in documents are akin. Akin means what? Similarity. So fields in the documents, that means this is, I told right, this is a document and this is field, or else key also we can call. So this field and this is what? This is the column. So there he is comparing. Okay, he is comparing and they have similarity. So here field we can compare with column. That is what he is telling. He is telling. Okay, right. And the values they contain can be variety of database types also, including other documents, arrays and array of documents according to the MongoDB user manual. Right. So document which also must incorporate with a primary key as a unique identifier. As a unique identifier are the basic unit of data in MongoDB. Collections contain sets of documents and functions as equivalent or relational database tables. Collection can contain any type of data, but the restriction is the data in collection cannot spread different databases. Okay, so we cannot work with multiple databases. Okay, but we can, the single database we can store huge amount of data. Okay, right, that is what we need to understand. And if you observe here, documents which almost incorporate a primary key. So what is primary key? Why we need to use a primary key? Why we need to use a primary key?
As an identifier.
Unique
Okay.
identifier, which can be used only once.
Okay, so why we need to use primary key? Suppose if you observe this, a table. Okay, so there are so whenever, so suppose there is a register table will be there. So many people with the name Ramesh. So all the people with their register with their own names. In that case, our application will confuse. Whenever anybody is registering also, or else whenever we are retrieving also in this, okay, it will be confused. So what it will do when, so what is the solution for that? For every record we need to maintain a unique ID, that is called primary key. So every table we should create a primary key that should be auto increment and that should be unique also, so that how many Rameshes are there in the tables also, that won't confuse. Each and every record will be separate. So like that in the relational database MySQL, we need to create a primary key by our own and we need to declare it as a primary key, and auto increment also we will assign. Okay, like that. But here in the MongoDB, what is the advantage is when the document is inserted, when the document, that means when a new record is created, automatically primary key also will be generated. That primary key is _ID. Name won't generate automatically, email won't generate automatically, but _ID will generate automatically. Now you understand what is _ID? That is a unique identifier for this entire document. Understanding right now? We can compare that _ID with the primary key. Clear, right everyone? Please respond. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Other persons?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. So _ID will come automatically. So no need to generate you manually. So that everything also, everything also we can recognize. Okay, independently we can recognize independently. Every record we can recognize independently. Okay, right. After whenever we are practicing MongoDB, you will understand. Okay. So first in this course I will teach MongoDB only. No need to worry. Okay. First in this course I will teach MongoDB only. No need to worry. Right. _ID will generate automatically. That will work as primary key. Okay, right. So what is the disadvantage of MongoDB? That means working culture we can feel the data in a collection cannot be spread in across different databases. Okay, so if you have a data in the collection, so that collection we can work with only one database, not different databases. That means we cannot work with multiple databases. Okay, that why? Because we can in the single database we can store huge amount of data. That's why he told this is very big data related things we can work. Okay, right. This is about MongoDB. So up to this it is clear, or else anybody having any doubts you can ask just now, right now. Up to this is clear. Respond please.
Clear, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Right, everybody.
Yes, sir.
సార్ ఒకసారి డిసడ్వాంటేజ్ మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెప్పరా సార్ MongoDB
We
డిసడ్వాంటేజ్
cannot, not disadvantage, working culture. We cannot work with multiple databases. Some applications need okay, two to three database also. Okay, but okay, here in MongoDB we can store all the application data in a single database. So no need to work with multiple databases. Okay, if you want to work with multiple databases also, it is not possible. Okay, we cannot spread. Understanding it? That means if
Okay.
you are working, sorry, if you are working with multiple databases, okay, we cannot share a collection data to another database. Okay, suppose a database called A, okay, and a database called B. Okay, suppose you are working with multiple databases. As per your requirements, you are working with multiple databases. Okay, it is possible, think like that. Okay, A database is there, B database also there, both are related to your application only. Understanding now? Both are
Yes.
related to your application only. But what is the disadvantage is you cannot share that in the A database you have a collection name called register. You have a collection name called register. That means table name. So that information we cannot store in the database B. Understanding now? Okay, that register database in that register table information we cannot work with the B database information. Understanding now? Hello.
ఎస్ సార్
Okay, yeah, that is it. Okay, Shravanti, so we cannot share that information with other database collection. Okay, that is only the disadvantage. Okay, right. Everybody, anybody having any other doubts? Hello.
No, sir.
Right. Now, so MongoDB introduction has completed. Now we'll go to the Node.js. So what is Node.js? Okay, and how it will works. So what is Node.js? Before going to the Node.js, we need to know who developed this Node.js. Who developed this? Rand Dahl. Who developed? Rand Dahl developed Node.js. Okay, what is Node.js? Very simple thing. Okay, Node.js is nothing but server-side JavaScript. Everybody thinks Node.js is a framework, or else everybody thinks Node.js is a separate language. No, Node.js is not a separate language. Node.js is not a separate framework. Node.js is pure, nothing but pure server-side JavaScript. Okay, pure server-side JavaScript. So to understand the server-side JavaScript, okay, like we should know about a little bit about JavaScript also, right? So whenever right now, as per your knowledge, tell me what is JavaScript. Forget about this Node.js. You forget about Node.js. You don't know Node.js. Think like that. Okay. Now tell me what is JavaScript. Is it a client-side technology or else a server-side technology? Respond everyone.
క్లయింట్ సైడ్
Okay, client-side technology. Okay. So now, how suppose if I write a JavaScript code, can I execute directly in the page? Sorry, can I execute the page directly in the browser? If I write a code in the JavaScript, can I directly execute in the browser? Suppose .js file will be there. Can I execute the .js file directly in the browser? Do I get proper output?
Yes, sir.
No, .js files directly we cannot execute in the browser. .js file also we
First
should
of all,
call.
for into
One second.
import
.js file.
.html file.
One second. .js file also .css files also we should call into the .html file, and that .html file only we can execute in the browser. Okay, and this .html only, that .html files only we can execute in the directly browser. Okay, through HTML file only we need to execute HTML code, CSS code, and JavaScript code. Now I have a question. So how browser is understanding three different technologies from a single page? We are executing only one HTML page only, but we are writing three different technologies, and we are getting proper output also in the browser. My question is how browser is understanding these three different technologies from a single page? Respond everyone. How this browser is understanding three different technologies from a single page? Please respond. You know style tag, right? Respond everyone. You know style tag, right? Please respond. Style tag. STYLE, style. Hello? Hello, are you getting my voice?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you know style tag? STYLE, style tag. Script tag,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
right? Then what happens? Yeah, whenever the browser is finding style tag, okay, browser will understand, okay, this code is related to CSS, so it will send it to the CSS interpreter. Whenever the browser reads the script tag, it will send it to the script JavaScript interpreter. Okay, yeah, put everybody mute. Put everybody mute. Shravanti. Right. So whenever the browser finds script tag, okay, this is related to JavaScript, so that it will send you to the JavaScript interpreter. Okay. So whenever it finds the HTML tag, it will go send it to the HTML tags. It will send it to the HTML interpreter. Whenever it finds the style tag, it will send it to the CSS interpreter. So that means what we need to understand, browser itself has three interpreters inbuilt: HTML interpreter, CSS interpreter, JavaScript interpreter. And these three interpreters also different from one browser to another browser. These three interpreters also different from one browser to another browser. Okay, understanding right? That's why something will work in the Mozilla Firefox, something doesn't work in the Google Chrome, Mozilla IE, Safari, why? Because these interpreters are different from one browser to another browser. Okay, so these interpreters no need to install manually. Automatically they will come along with a browser. Okay, browser also nothing but a human body. So what is a human body? Collection of organs and connection between them. Collection of organs and connection between them. Right. We have, what is our human body? We have so many organs, and every organ is directly or indirectly have connection with other organ also. Like that, the browser also contains three interpreters, internal parts, and these three interpreters also internally they have connection. So that's why we will get proper output. Okay, that's why we'll get proper output. And these three interpreters also different from one browser to another browser. Okay, suppose Mozilla Firefox JavaScript interpreter or JavaScript engine name is SpiderMonkey. Google Chrome JavaScript engine okay, JavaScript engine name is V8 engine. IE or Edge JavaScript engine name is Chakra. JavaScript engine name is Chakra. Understanding right? So what is the name of our Mozilla Firefox? SpiderMonkey. What is the Google Chrome JS engine name? V8 engine. What is the Edge JavaScript engine name? Chakra. Understanding right, everyone? Please respond. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Right. So the JavaScript engine which is in the browser that supports is only client-side JavaScript. That supports, that is only client-side JavaScript. That means What is client-side technologies and server-side technologies difference? What is the difference between client-side technologies and server-side technologies? Please respond. If you have any knowledge, you can share. What is the difference between client-side technologies and server-side technologies? Respond, please. Hello. What is the difference between client-side technologies and server-side technologies? So by using client-side technologies, we cannot store the data permanently. By using server-side technologies, we can store the data permanently. So how we can store our data permanently? Because if you want to store our data permanently, the technology whatever you are using that have the capacity to connect with the database. Okay, so if you want to store your data permanently, we should store the data in a database. So the technology whatever you are using that have the capacity to connect with the database and to manipulate the database also. But the JavaScript which is supported by the JavaScript interpreter in the browser, that is only client-side JavaScript. That means we cannot able to connect with the database, and since we are not able to connect with the database, we cannot store the data in the database. Since we are not storing our database in data in the database, we cannot store the data permanently. We can store our data temporarily. We can store our data temporarily only. Understanding right? So understanding right, everyone? Please respond. So this person, respond please everyone. What is the difference between client-side technologies and server-side technologies? Understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So this person, who is this? Randall. What he did? So he is very interested in the JavaScript, and he is not satisfied with the only client-side JavaScript. He is very interested in the JavaScript, but he is not satisfied with the client-side JavaScript. What he did? So they have PHP, there are JavaScript, Java, there is a .NET. So there are so many server-side technologies. So why can't I develop my own server-side technology? Like that he thought. So that purpose, what he did not develop any new technology. He did not develop anything new language. So what he did, he has chosen this V8 engine. He has taken this V8 engine. This V8 engine is open source. That means anybody can use that code. This V8 engine is open source. That means anybody can use that code also. Okay, so he has taken this V8 code engine's code and plus, okay, plus he has added his own code in the C++ language. What is that? C++ language. What purpose he has written this code? To give the power to connect with the database. Okay, to give the power to connect with the database and to manipulate the database also. Okay, understanding right? Suppose you will see action movies, right, in the Hollywood movies, Fast and Furious, something like that. Respond, everyone. Okay, there will be a car. Okay, there will be a car. So normally that car will go 200 miles per hour, think like that. So there will be some boosters. So if you add that booster, what happens? It will go 400 miles per hour also. Right, everyone? So without booster also that car will run or not? Respond please. At least 200 miles per hour. Respond. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So that if you add that booster, it will run 400 miles per hour. So same thing here also. If you are working with server only client-side technology, no need to work with this Node.js. No need to install this Node.js. But if you want to connect with the database, then we need to add this Node.js in your computer. That means we need to install this Node.js in your computer. That's it. Understand? So he has used this C++ technology and he has developed that code to connect with the database, to work with the server side like any other server side technology. However, that language works, that related programming he has developed by using C++ language and with the help of this V8 engine also. Understanding? Please respond, everyone. Understanding or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will explain with paint also. It will be a little bit clear for you. So this is the normal JavaScript. Along with every browser interpreter, it will come. This is what this is, normal JavaScript. Okay, so I am the Randall, think like that. So I am not satisfied with the JavaScript. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to enhance it, but I don't want to merge. I want to enhance as a separate. So what I did, I developed this little bit part. This what I have developed. What is this? Node.js. So what you will do, if you want this Node.js, then only you can install in your computer. If you don't want with the if you don't want this Node.js, then you will work with this only pure JavaScript. Understand it, everyone? Then what is JavaScript and what is Node.js? So this client, this JavaScript, which comes along with the browser, that is client-side JavaScript. This Node.js is server-side JavaScript. So this is a extension of extension part of this JavaScript, plain JavaScript. Understanding or not? This is the extension part of this plain JavaScript. That why he has developed this extension for to make the connectivity database. Now it is clear. Respond everyone. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Yes, sir.
See, from the starting only 1 or 2 persons only responding. I want everyone's response. Respond through at least a chart or else voice. If you don't understand, ask me one more time, I will repeat. Not a problem. One second.
Understood, sir. Understood, sir.
Yeah, 1 second, 1 second. I did not see checking the chat box, that's why. So many messages. Yeah, right. Now everybody responded. Right, okay? Right. So how he developed this Node.js? By using V8 engine plus C++. So if you observe here, this is, we are telling it as JavaScript Node.js. So JavaScript like that. But he has used it here C++. Why he has used it here C++? Because this V8 engine also developed by C++ only. Why they have developed the C++? Because the JavaScript also derived from or else evolved from C++ only. JavaScript also developed from C++ only. Okay, right. So this V8 engine also developed C++ only, and this Node.js also internally developed C++ only. So by merging these two technologies, he has named it as Node.js. That is only this part. That is only this part. Okay, everyone. This is what about Node.js development. So some of the popular server-side technology like, okay, right, understand right, everyone? Okay, right. So some of the popular services, server-side technology like PHP, .NET, Ruby, and Java servers all follow multi-threaded, where each client request results in a instantiation of a new thread of even a process or even a process. But Node.js requests are run on the same thread, which even shared resources. All Node.js applications use a single thread event loop model architecture to handle multiple concurrent clients. So yes, Node.js is single threaded, but this is a half truth. Actually, it is event driven and single threaded with background workers. The main event loop is single threaded, but most of the input output works on run on the separate threads, because the input output APIs Node.js are asynchronous, non-blocking by design in order to accommodate the event loop. Right. I will explain this. Okay. Right. So now this PHP, .NET, and Ruby and Java, how this will work? How they will work? Multi-threaded. Multi-threaded means
Execution of
suppose,
multiple.
yeah, suppose see here, this is a database. So generally we'll get the data from the database only. So I have an application, and that application is sharing by 3 users. See, 3 users now are using things like that. He is the user 1, he is the user 2, and he is the user 3. Okay, so every user will send different requests. So in that case, what the server or what the technology will do, like PHP also, any other technology also, what it will do, it will open a thread. Suppose user 1 will send a request and immediately it will open a thread. And in this particular thread only, that request and response will travel. And user 2 also will send some request and immediately it will open a thread. In this particular thread only, that request and response will travel. And the user 3 also will send some request. And immediately it will open another thread. This is multiple threads. In this particular thread only, this request and response will travel. If it doesn't travel in this particular thread, then what happens? User 2 will get user 1 response. User 3 will get user 2 response. User 1 will get user 3 response. So to separate that, what they did, the persons did who developed that technologies, what they did. So for each and every request, they will open a different threads. In that particular threads only, they will request that particular request and response will travel, so that each and every user will get that related response only independently. Understand it, everyone? Please respond. Hello,
Yes, sir.
other person?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right.
Sir.
Yeah, right. Now this one, how Node.js works, this is other technologies, but how this Node.js works, suppose there is other user 1, user 2, user 3, thing like that. So what it will do, it will open a single thread only for all the users. It will open a single thread only. So whatever this user 1 is sending, it will go this particular thread. Whatever this user 2 is sending, this will go this particular thread only. And whatever this user 3 send, this will go this particular thread only. But after going, what they will do, they will internally separate that. Okay, here it will, so here the request and response will travel, and in this the request and response will travel, and in this the request and response. Understanding, everyone? Please respond. So actually they are going to a single thread, all the users, but after going it is separate. But here for each and everything it will open as multiple different threads, and it will send each and every request and response separately. Okay, so this type of working culture is called as single threaded event loop model. So event loop model means what? Internally that will separate. Understanding, right, everyone? Please respond. Everyone, please respond.
Yes.
What is multi-threaded?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
what is multi-thread? Yeah, okay. So this is single threaded also. Okay, this is single threaded also. Okay, multi-threaded means for each and every request it will open different threads, but single thread means all the requests will go to single thread, but after going it will separate internally. It will separate. Node.js has its own programming for that. Okay, after entering into the single thread, how to separate all those things, they have their own way of programming. Okay, we no need to worry about that. Okay, right. Event driven and single threaded also, this also will same thing. And coming to this asynchronous. So what is asynchronous and non-blocking? Asynchronous also, non-blocking also same. What is asynchronous and what is non-blocking? Else what is asynchronous? Okay, so I will compare with real world example. Okay, So there is a terminology called synchronous and asynchronous. There is a different terminology called synchronous and asynchronous. Okay. So what is synchronous functionality and what is asynchronous functionality? I will tell. Suppose synchronous functionality. So synchronous functionality means, okay, so you went to a restaurant, very big restaurant. Okay, so in that case, what happens? So you will go to a table and you will take a chair. Please put everybody mute. Then what? Okay, then what happens? One waiter will come to you and he will take your order and he will give it in the, please put everybody mute. He will take your order and he will give it in the, who is not muted? Please respond. Anu Singh, please put yourself mute. Akshu Singh. Click on the mic symbol. Right. So he will come to you, that waiter will come to you, he will take your order and he will give it in the kitchen. So then what happens? He won't go to the next table. He won't go to the next table. He will sit there. That means he will stand by side or else he will be there until the item is ready. After that item is ready, what he will do? He will take that item and he will serve it to you. And he will put it in your table and he will serve it to you. This is called synchronous functionality. That means he is taking your order and he is giving in the kitchen and he is waiting the, okay, so order is your request here. Okay, so waiter is the response traveler. Okay, he will give it in the kitchen. Kitchen means that is the database you can fill, and item is the response, that is what you can fill. Okay, and he will directly come to you and he will serve it to you. Okay, whenever the item is making, he is not going to the other table. He is just doing nothing. He is not going to the other table. Okay, he is waiting up to the item is ready. After item is ready, he is serving to you. This is what type of functionality? Respond everyone. This is what type of functionality? Synchronous functionality. That means the synchronous technology is what they will do. They will get a request and they will send it to the server and they will wait up to the response is ready. If that response is 1 crore record also, it will wait. If it is only 1 record also, it will wait. If the response is 1 crore records also, it will wait. After getting every response, it will throw all the response at once. All the response also at once. So that's why sometimes some data, some applications will be crashed. Why? This is why only. So most of the people are sending so many requests. That request also very big queries. Okay, so that's why sometimes it will crash. But how Node.js works? It will work asynchronously. That means I will tell with another real world example. This time we went to other restaurant. Okay, so this is normal restaurant. Okay, then what happens? You will take a chair and a waiter will come to you and he will take your order and he will give it in the kitchen and he don't wait. He will go to other table and he will take another order and he will give it in the kitchen and he will give it to go to the other table and he take that third order also, he will give it in the kitchen. And okay, and he don't check who is given first order, who is given second order, like that. Okay, so whatever the item is ready, suppose you order idli, that is ready, so immediately he will give that order to that person. He don't check whether he given a first or second, something like that. Understanding everyone? Okay, so same person is going to different tables. This is what asynchronous functionality. So how this Node.js will work? He will take a request from the user and it won't wait up to the response is ready, and it will take another request from the same user also or from the other user also, and again it will send it the request to the server, and if the response is immediately ready, and immediately it will send to the response to the user also. Okay, and it will take another request from the other user and it will send it to the server, and if the response is very big, then what happens? if that response is very big also, very small also, how it will send? Other languages will throw all the 1 crore records at once only, but how Node.js will do? It will cut the data into parts, small parts, chunks, buffers, like that it will cut. Okay, and then it will send the data so that our application won't be break. Understanding, everyone? So how much request coming also, how much big data it is, that response also, our application won't be crashed. That is the working, or that is the one of the advantages of Node.js. Understanding, right? So it will work asynchronously, and the way of sending the response also different. Understanding that, everyone? Please respond. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Suppose I will explain with another drawing also. Wait 1 second. Suppose he is a person, so he sent a request. So automatically it will open a thread, right? So if the request is very if the request is very big also, it will small also, what it will do? It will first open a thread that is called stream also, we can feel. Okay, in that thread, so many boxes will be there. So many boxes will be there. What these boxes will contain? It will contain chunks of data. That means it will part the data. It will cut the data into small parts. Like, of course, I'm not good at paint. That's why sizes are coming differently, but they are coming with equal sizes. This small data will fill up with this buffer. This buffer, we can feel it as a box. Like this. Like this. Like this. So the data, it is cutting into the small chunks. That chunks they are putting in a box called a buffer, and these boxes will travel in this particular path that is called stream, or this is called thread, and it will go to the user, so that user will get the response very fastly. Understanding? If the record is where 1 crore records also, first 100 records will come. Then after 1,000 records will come. Then after 5,000 records. Then after 10,000 records. Then after 20,000. Then after 1 lakh, 50 lakhs, 100 lakhs. That is called 1 crore. Understanding that? So that it will send the records into small parts, so that the response won't be break, and our application also won't be crashed. Understand that, everyone? Please respond. Now this is how it will work. Okay, and it won't wait for the response is ready. If the response is very little, only 1 record, immediately it will send. If the record is 1 crore, that is also immediately it will send in the small parts. That's it. Clear it, everyone? Right. Okay, so this is how Node.js will work. Okay, this is about Node.js. And coming to this Express.js, that is a framework. That is a framework only. Clear, everyone? That is a Node.js related framework only. So, okay, why nowadays everybody using framework? I will compare with real world example. Suppose you have 10 crores of rupees with you, and you want to start a software company. So if you want to start a software company, there will be 2 choices. You need to purchase some land, and you need to recruit an engineer to plan for your office. Okay, to plan for your office. Okay, depends upon that plan, you need to order the material, how much people you need, okay, to build that, to construct that building, and how much concrete you need, how much iron you need, all those things. Okay, so after that also you need to wait 1.5 years to 2 years. Okay, you need to wait 1.5 years to 2 years to complete that building. Then only you can start income by producing some production. Okay, there is other also will be there, other choice also will be there. What is that? already some realtors are will be there. Okay, they build some nice constructions for us. We'll go to the 4 to 5 buildings, and whatever the building is suitable for our requirements, immediately we have money, immediately we can pay, and we will do some rental agreements, and immediately we can start production also. And that means we will set up some basic hardware networking internet related things, and that will take minimum 10 to 15 days, and immediately we can start our office related functionalities. So which one you will prefer? You will wait 2 years, or else within 15 days you will start our functionality? Within
Fastest.
15 days you will. Okay, what is the thing you will do? Second wave only. So okay, like that, if you use any core language to give the basic structure and everything, it will take to give the basic structure, right? Performance wise, security wise, URL manipulations wise, it will take minimum 2 to 3 months to give that basic structure. But rather than if you choose a framework, automatically that will inbuilt, it will come, and within fraction of seconds we can download, and okay, within fraction of seconds we can download, and the basic settings we need to change within 10 to 15 minutes, and after 10 to 15 minutes we can start immediately application development. So that's why everybody is preferring nowadays framework. Like that, Express.js is also one of the frameworks developed by Node.js. Okay, so if you want to develop application by using Node.js, means they will use Express.js framework only. Understanding, right? So how they will develop applications by using Node.js? By using Express.js framework only. Okay, right. So that's about this Express.js. Okay, it is a framework. Whenever Node.js and Express.js started, I will tell each and everything with real-time examples. See, only first class or second class only theoretical. Okay, because of introduction. Remaining all the classes will be practical. I'm not a theory person. Only first class. This is also first class. So immediately if I write program, you will confuse. So that's why only first class and maybe second class. Or else tomorrow onwards I will start programming. That means MongoDB I will start. Only 1 or 2 class only I will tell theory. Remaining onwards, most of the time I will tell practical examples. Whenever I am explaining the practical examples, I will tell you the theory. That's it. Okay, so I am a practical person, so you will get definitely practical knowledge. Okay, no need to worry about that. Okay, right. So this is the introduction class. This is the class for today, and tomorrow we'll meet and we'll continue our course. Okay, right. And the course timings will be 11 to 12, and daily 1 hour, and sorry, Monday to Friday only classes. Saturday, Sunday holidays. Course duration will be 30 to 40 days. Okay, or else 40 to 60 days. That's it. Okay, everyone. Right. So this is it. This is the class for today. Tomorrow we'll meet and we'll continue our class. Okay, right.
Hello, sir.
One second.
Hello.